So in the Brian Koberger case, a video has been released of him at the DMV registering his car in Washington just 5 days after he committed the crimes. That would have been November 18th. And people are kind of deciphering that and picking it apart. I thank Christy for linking me to that on London's page because I hadn't seen the whole thing yet. A lot of people are commenting how calm he looked and how conversational he was during it, seeming like they were surprised at that. And I hate to address this side of it, but the pro-burgers are saying this is proof he couldn't have done what he did. How do you expect him to be acting there? Do you expect him to come in all sweaty and acting nervous? This is a guy who lacked remorse for what he did. He lacked conscience over it. This is the guy who did the smiling thumbs up selfie just hours after he committed the act. So no, he's not going to look physically suspicious. Although he was doing a lot of kind of pacing back with his feet early on. He did show a little bit of anxiety early on until the DMV employee was engaging him in conversation and he got more relaxed there. So it's not a surprise at all that he didn't look like someone who had just carried out that act. I saw some comments saying, wouldn't the employee have been suspicious or wondered why he was wearing gloves? Pullman in November, you're going to be lucky to get high temperatures to get out of the 30s, and your lows are going to be in the teens. On that exact date, November 18th, 2022, the high temperature had managed to get up to 34 and the low temp was in the teens. I spent a decade in that part of the state, and it is not unusual at all for people to be wearing gloves, so that wouldn't have necessarily stood out. We knew he was doing it for a particular reason, to not leave prints or DNA on anything, because by this point he knew he had left the sheath behind, so he was kind of trying to cover his butt. As far as transferring his vehicle to Washington, I believe, if I remember this correctly, his Pennsylvania registration was expiring anyway around that time, but he did not need to change his registration to Washington. Out-of-state students who maintain a permanent address outside the state can continue the registration in their home state. They don't have to flip over to a Washington plate or Washington registration unless they are establishing a Washington address as their home address. So he was definitely doing that to cover his butt, to make the car look different in case anyone had seen the car or there were images of it. Now you'll have a different plate. The other big difference was in Pennsylvania, you do not have to have a front plate on the car. In Washington, you do. Now, before any Washington people jump on me about this, you only have to have a tag on the back plate, but you do have to have a front plate on the car, even though you're not given a tag for the front plate. So he was definitely changing the appearance recognition of the car. He was covering his butt just in case here. Other than that, normal, conversational. The only thing that really bothered me about it was that the clerk is a Bay Area sports fan.